Hey, divorcing gracefully and beyond sisters. It's Donna Rudowitz. How are you? For those of you who are new to the divorcing gracefully and beyond community, I welcome you here. And so what I do is I am a licensed clinical social worker who, AKA psychotherapist, who traded in her psychotherapy for rapid transformational relationship coaching because that's what works here. In the past, therapy was something that we all went to, and I don't gripe therapy. I love therapy. I am a therapist. But when it comes to what I would say, creating the love in your life with yourself first, we really need to do it on a more relationship coaching level. So this is the first time, guys. I'm kind of doing an evening pop in here at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond. Normally, I do a morning coffee chat, but I decided to come in tonight because there was so much I wanted to share with you. And being that this month of February, we're in the second month of the year, right? So January 2022, February 2022, and we have the rest of the year really to kick ass. And excuse my language, but that's what we're going to do. So we're halfway through, we're almost all the way through February. And what I wanted to talk to you today about is this concept of perception. So if you're following me, likely you've been through a divorce, you've been through a relationship breakup, there's been a relationship fracture, and what's happening where you're at is most women who come to me, they're at a point where their life is back together, they've got good family, they've got good friends, but it's this relationship with themselves that they can't quite seem to move the needle on. And hold on one second. Let's see if I could get this camera clearer, which I'm hoping is clear. So bear with me one second because I could see it not moving, but I think we're clear. All right. So even if it's a little fuzzy, at least we're here together. But one of these concepts is as a woman who has been through divorce, right? Whether you're in a divorce, you're thinking about one, you've been through one, or perhaps you were in a relationship that hasn't worked out the way that you wanted. And what you're seeing happen time and time again are these patterns happening. Or what I like to say is that 1 degree principle where you've been through the therapy, you've read the books, you've done the work, but you can't seem to get out of your own way in your thoughts and in moving forward in this relationship side, in the relationship side with yourself. And I want to let you know something. You're not alone. All right. This is something that we weren't taught as women. And as a matter of fact, if we think about the therapy model and we think about how societal norms have taught us to react to what is going on in an environment is actually to talk about it more, right? And to process through it. Now, granted, there's a time and place for that. We do need to talk about it. We do need to get it off of our chest and have a conversation. But let's think about this. Here's the difference. What you think about is what you bring about. So stay with me here for a moment and tell me if you agree or disagree with this concept, right? Just in your own mind right now, let me know in your state of being agreeing with this, right? If what we think about is what we bring about, correct? And if we want to create a new personal reality, then we may need to change parts of our personality to create that, right? We don't want to keep going on the conditioned patterns, beliefs, and behaviors that have gotten us to this point. Now, we could look back. See, this is the difference that so many of us don't think about, is we could look back upon that part of ourselves with grace because you did the best you could with what you had. At that time, you were making your decisions. At that time, you were going through the devastation and the destruction or the fracture of the heart. You were making the best decisions you could with the information that you have, right? You can't look back now and look back at what you did in the past because you didn't have the wisdom that you have in the past that you have now. And so going back to the therapy model, when you go and you keep talking about what it is you don't want and what it is you don't want, what you're actually doing is creating more patterns of what you don't want. So what I want to do is be a little bit of a disruptor for you right now. And not again, not to challenge therapy or say not to do the books or to listen to the podcast and to do all of that. I mean, I'm an avid believer of learning. I'm an avid believer of absorbing information. I think I will be a learner for the literally the rest of my life. It's something that I love to do. But what I want you to do is I don't want you just to accept and surrender to the conditioned patterns, beliefs, and behaviors that you have, is to take a moment to actually question it, to take a moment to actually challenge the perception that you have about the events that have happened in the past, the events that are happening today, and the events that are going to be possible for you in your future. Because I will guarantee you somewhere along the way, a lot of your belief systems aren't even necessarily yours, right? They're from our parents, from our earliest caregivers, from society, and some of them may fit us very lovely. We may enjoy these patterns and beliefs. They may bring us peace and comfort, but some of them may not, right? And this is where the disruption comes in, is how are you perceiving something? It's not the event, it's not what has happened to us that is causing us suffering. It's our perception of what we think happened or our thoughts about it, because the event is the event. Now, if we keep talking about, again, what we don't want, if we keep talking about the pain that we've been through, we are going to keep creating it. So this is your opportunity to say to yourself, hey, listen, self, I understand and I give you grace and I love you because you are an amazing woman for what you've been through and how you handled it. And every decision that you have made has not been necessarily for you. Every decision that you have made has been because you are caring for your family, for your loved ones around you, for your employer, for your coworkers, for your team, if you're a leader, for your staff, right? And that's where we get to talk to ourselves and say, I love you. Because up until this point, you have been through a battlefield and you have come out the other side. And it's time and it's done being the warrior. It's time to live in abundance versus lack. We are no longer in the battle. We are now in creation. We no longer want to battle what happened because you could fight that for the rest of your life, right? As a therapist, I have spent years working with people who are battling the thoughts and the perceptions that they have on an event that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. And granted, I give them the compassion and the empathy of what have happened with the divorce or their separation or the soul fracture that came along with it. I have empathy and compassion for the emotions that follow that. And where I give my clients the ability to move past that is there needs to be a time in our life where we put a period on the end of that sentence. We're not negating it. We're not putting our head under the sand and saying it didn't happen, but we're no longer more in love with our past. We are more in love with our future. We begin to change the needle on what we're focusing on, where we're going, and what's more important to you. What's more important to you? Continuing to talk about what you don't want and getting stuck in what I would say the ups and downs of the past, or creating a future that you actually could wake up to and say, my God, I am so blessed and so lucky this is my life. I am so blessed and so lucky that I'm getting to live this life this way, right? It's deciding what's more important to you because no one is going to create your path other than you. I would love to have it where I'm going to, truth be told, my idea as a little girl was that I would be married, I would have my job where I was working part-time, I would be able to be a stay-at-home mom, I wouldn't have to worry about money or finances, that I would manage the house, I would manage the family, I would not be the breadwinner. And most of my life has been exactly opposite of that blueprint, especially one who's been through divorce, where I had to manage the house. I had to manage the finances. I had no other choice. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was what was given to me. And now I stayed stuck in avoiding or resisting what was actually going on because my perception, it didn't match my perception of what I wanted it to be. But my reality was very different until I allowed myself to say, okay, wait a minute. What am I not seeing? What am I not what's not here, and then really looking at what is, again, staying away from the drama and really focusing on the data. So what I would encourage you today is at any event that's going on. It doesn't have to be with your relationship. It could be with something that's going on at home, or it could be with something at work, but just look at the event with different eyes. Give yourself, let's practice this, right? Is practicing looking at something and not just blindly accepting what we think it means, because again, that's patterned beliefs and behaviors, conditioned beliefs and behaviors. Is just to say, wait a minute, if I'm feeling a little offended, or I feel like, you get those little hairs in the back of your head that come up, or you feel like, maybe if you're a people pleaser, you want to try to hustle and do something for someone, so you get that validation and the intention. Is before you do any of that, just take a step back and just evaluate what's really going on. Put those goggles on and ask yourself, what is it exactly that I'm looking at? What is it exactly that I'm feeling? Now, how I'm perceiving this situation, is it really true? Could there be another way that I could see this? Because again, the situation itself is only the situation. We as people label it good or bad based upon what our perception is. We spend so much time trying to change other people, or trying to get other people to see our viewpoint, which they may never see. Your ex-husband may never see your viewpoint. You may never be able to get in what you need to say, or the forgiveness that you need from him, that may never come. So what's going to happen? You're going to remain victim to effect, or you're going to be master of cause? Because the difference now becomes, we're not saying wanting forgiveness or validation from your ex isn't something that you should have, or that it's not a desire that you have. You may very much want that. You very much want to make peace with the past. But if you're waiting on someone else to give you that peace, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. And this is where the conversation becomes so important to me, is because you are far too valuable, far too beautiful, and you have far too many talents that are not being utilized to the best of your ability, because we're waiting on other people. Today, February 21st, it's your day to take back the power to say, I am no longer waiting on other people to move my life forward and my happiness. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be happy like that. I'm not saying that your grief is going to go away like that. We've got work to do, girl. We've got work to do. And that's what we do at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond, is we go in and we actually create new neural pathways. We challenge the beliefs, the behaviors, and the systems, and we create new neural pathways and new systems and new behaviors. So Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time, and you need the right mentor, right, to help you through. Because if anything, healing our heart, really learning how to fall in love with ourselves, is not something we could do alone. And for all of my sisters out there that fall in what I would consider to be something that I experience, which is the ultra independence role, is where I was so used to doing everything that it was very difficult for me to even admit, and embarrassing, right? Because people saw me in a certain way. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was all of those emotions that I just didn't even know where to turn. I didn't know what questions to ask. And that's why Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond was created. That's why this group and this community and the work that I do is what was once my tragedy, something that I thought was happening to me. I realized my divorce wasn't happening to me. It was happening for me. And now I own a business, and I help women just like you get to their best life. And if I could do it, so could you. There's a reason why your divorce was allowed. There's a reason why you're going through the divorce. And I'm not saying that we have to celebrate that, but what I am saying is you have two perceptions you could look at. This divorce happened to me and everything that happened wrong, and let me go talk to my therapist for the next 30 years and try to figure it out, which I never will figure out, because I'm not going to get the closure that I need from certain spaces, because once I depend outside of myself, I'm in volatile territory. Or I could state my reality is that I'm hurt. My reality is that my heart is broken. My reality is that this is not what I wanted. This is not where I wanted to be. In a million years, I never would have guessed I would have been in this space. And my reality is that I have power, that I could change the trajectory of my life, that I could become the master of cause. And I don't need to know how to do it just yet. I just have to know hope in my heart that that's possible. Because once we change our personal reality, we get to change, right? Once we change our personality, we get to change our personal reality. And the ability for you to change where you've been to where you want to go is there. Because the question a lot of times I get is, Donna, what happens if this doesn't work for me? What happens if I'm sad my whole life? What happens if I'm the cat lady living in the condo alone? What happens if, my children and my family are living their life and I'm living the rest of my life by myself? And what I say is, what happens if it does work? Right? We look at catastrophizing what it is we don't want. And think about that. Every time we think about what we don't want, we are putting energy and effort into creating more of what we don't want. We need to shift our perspective to what we do want, spending more time and energy in looking at what exactly it is that I want. What's in my heart? Where am I being led? What is it that I desire? Not because of what my mother told me or my ex told me or my children told me, but this is your opportunity at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond. The true gift is we get to come home to us. It is a coming home to our heart. It is a coming home to who we are as a woman. It is a coming home to rediscovering and creating where we want to go. That's the gift, my friends. And the longer that you stay stuck in the issue, in the problem of what's not working, is the longer that you stay stuck and the longer that you are not living in wholeness, that you are living fractured. And I've done both. I've lived fractured and I've lived whole, and it is much better to live whole. When we're living fractured, on the outside, you could have the smile, you could have your look together, you could have a great career. Everything on the outside could look so perfectly put together. But on the inside, if you're broken and you're fractured, you are not living life. You are just existing. You are not living, you are not thriving, you are just existing. Now, you could choose to do that, and I love you anyway. But if you're ready to thrive, if you're ready to just go ahead and put that period on the end of the sentence of where you've come from and begin the new story, create a brand new journal, brand new pen, brand new book, then I'd suggest reaching out to me. Right below this video, there's going to be a Breakthrough to Life and Love call. You could go ahead and schedule one. There's no charge to these calls. These are for you if you're committed, if you're ready to move, if you're ready to take action in your life. We hop on the phone and we strategize where you're at. So I definitely would take advantage of that. And in the meantime, what I would also invite you to do, again, is just take a moment in vivo in your life before you make an assumption. Stop and ask yourself, what is my perception? Is it valid? Is it true? Is this even my perception, or is this my mother's, or is this my sister's? Was this my ex-husband's? Was this my children? Because I think once you do it more from the observer viewpoint, not from the criticism viewpoint, but from the observer, you're going to realize that a lot of your thoughts, a lot of your beliefs, a lot of your actions are conditioned from other people. They're not even ours. And when we come into this enlightened moment of going, wait a minute, I'm 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and I've been living this way my whole life, the gift is we get to adjust it. We get to refine it. So with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this little, what I would say, coffee chat in the evening with me. And I wish you all of the best. I send you so much love, and know that no matter what you've been through, no matter if it's a small fracture, if it's a large fracture, if you're just beginning your divorce or you're 20 years post your divorce, it matters not to me. What matters to me is when you're ready, willing, and able, and when you're going to commit to yourself that you're ready to live your best life. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear when you're ready to do that. So share with me your stories. If you have any questions, you could always come to this page. I'm here, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Have a great rest of the night. Bye.